going on, people? Welcome to United View. Welcome to the morning after the night before, as they say. Obviously we're all feeling down in the dumps, and you know what, I feel like you just emotionally check out after a stage. You know, you always support your football team, you always want your football team to do well, but it just feels so low and so flat, and I'm just tired of the blame game. I'm like, in terms of players, I'm fed up of talking about Harry Maguire. I'm fed up of talking about Marcus Rashford. I'm fed up of talking about Bruno. I'm fed up of talking about Pogba. I'm fed up of talking about the fullbacks. I'm fed up of talking about the forwards are too old. I'm fed up of it all, because like I said yesterday, and it just played in my mind when I was talking about, we're not making any progress. There's no building blocks. There's no foundation at the football club. And I'm thinking, what does the summer look like? Because we're already looking to that. You know, forget top four, forget trying to finish in the Champions League. Do you know what? We were probably fortunate to go out of the Champions League without drawing somebody even better than Atletico and getting a real hiding, a real embarrassing. I mean, this is bad enough, but could you imagine scraping through yesterday to play a Bayern Munich or whoever, a City or whatever, whoever it is, a Real Madrid, and getting absolutely annihilated? Sometimes it's better to just accept what was always going to happen anyway. And that sounds defeatist. Now it's happened, and hindsight is a wonderful thing, but it is. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, and now I am thinking back in hindsight and taking my emotions away from the build up to the game, because when you're in the build up to a game, it's our duty as fans to get behind it, to enjoy the moment. I'm not sorry for that 1%. But now when you deep it, it's like, this is what Man United need, this whole reset. And you know what? We could talk about players in the summer of what we need. We need this DM. The forwards are too old. We've got a 35-year-old and a 37-year-old, or however old Cavani is. Them two need to go. Martial's had his day. What's going to happen with Rashford? Maguire's not good enough. Eric Bailly's going to leave. We can talk about all these players that need to come in and all this. But the biggest single thing that we can do this summer is completely reset the football club. Completely reset the football club. Like, Ralph going upstairs needs to happen. More people need to follow him. It needs to be a manager coming in and Manchester United saying, we fully back you and fully understand the principles of what you want to do, and we understand we're going to give you the patience. It's us as fans who then need to say, right, it's going to hurt more, and Man United should never have to be in this position, but the fact is we are. It's 2023 next year. That will be a decade since we last won the Premier League. It's time for us to get real. It's time for us to understand that we are a big football club in name, in history, but we are not a big football club in structure. We are not a big football club in our squad. We are not a big football club in terms of the way we're run. We are not a big football club in terms of our recruitment. These are all things that make you successful in the here and now. There are bigger football clubs than Man United in the here and now in all of those departments that I've just mentioned. I don't even need to mention who they are. There are loads of them. We are big as an institution by name only, and we are a broken, fractured institution. And you know what? It can't change. It can't change by sprinkling an amazing signing on the top. It can't change by getting a marquee signing or getting the hottest prospect out of Europe, the youngest prodigy. It's not gonna change. As long as we have the football structure that we have, which is no direction, not understanding what we want to be as a football club, how we want to look as a football team, how we want to play, as long as we do that, we will never progress. The bar is already set astronomically high by Liverpool and City because they've got the two best managers in the world. That's the benchmark. But I'm saying, forget, and hear me out on this. This isn't, well, do you know what? Actually, fuck this. It is lowering expectation. It is for years, and I get it. I've been part of it, and I hold my hands up. As a United fan, you don't want to lower your expectations, because when you do that, you start accepting mediocrity. And essentially, what we have now is not even mediocre. It's worse than that. But on the flip side of that, and let me know if you guys agree with this, on the flip side of that, there also has to be a realization that you're not that anymore. But in order to get back to something that resembles what you want to be, you have to go way lower than you've ever been before and start from a blank canvas, a plain white A6 piece of paper, A4 piece of paper. Probably even bigger. What's that? A2 in it? Because the smaller you go, it's a bigger Josh on it. Yeah. A1? Is that the biggest one?
A1, yeah. That's
yeah. A blank A1 canvas, with nothing on it. So that means gutting out players who are here now, which is going to take time. That means promoting younger players, more hungry players, which is going to take time. Getting a manager in and backing them from the start and seeing through a project, which is going to take time. And getting more football people in the football club to make decisions, which again is going to take time. So to do the things that we want to see, we have to say, do you know what? Forget Champions League. Do you know what? Forget Europa League. We almost need to factory reset. And this is going to sound crazy, but Arsenal being out of all them competitions and just focusing on one competition and restructuring the football club is what's needed. The squad needs knocking down. I said it yesterday about all this talk about knocking down Old Trafford and rebuilding a new one. Fuck that. Do that with the team. Do that with the institution of Manchester United before you do that to the stadium. You know? And it's got to start from this summer. This I know we say this every year, but this actually is the biggest summer in United's recent history, in my opinion. Because if we get it wrong, again, fundamentally wrong, you're going to set us back probably another 5 to 10 years. And I'm not exaggerating. That's how bad it is. Because what happens is, and this is what I get, you know, why I've checked out. What happens is that every so often, right, we get these big crushing defeats. So even if you think back to when it's Ollie, it'll be against City when we get rinsed, or when it's against Liverpool and you get rinsed, or whether you lose the Europa League final, or whether it's now with Ralph where we go out of the Champions League, or whether it's we go out of the FA Cup in the third round, or we go out of the Carabao Cup in the first round. You get those big shockwave ones where it's like, this is what I mean, we're shit, we're this, what's that player doing, look at this guy, look at that player, look at this, look at that. But essentially, the whole environment and the whole situation is broke all the way through. If you're talking about players that you would potentially want to keep for next year to work under a new manager and show something, I could probably give you 5, maybe 6 at best, if that, based off of what we've seen. You know, everything has to change at the football club, and that is going to take time. So back to my point about us lowering expectations, that's absolutely going to have to happen. Will it hurt more? Yes, it will. Will the pain carry on? Yes, it will. But, you know, to achieve something great, you need great sacrifice. You know, to turn around the club, we're going to have to sacrifice even further than we already have. And you know what? Yeah, of course we have been spoiled over the last 20 years. You know, in my lifetime of watching Manchester United, you know, from the age of, 6, 7, when I started watching Man United, we've been the best team all the way up until 2013. You know, an array of Premier League titles, Champions League, FA Cups, had it all our own way. The best team in England. But when you deep it, and we're getting to a decade now, 10 years, you know, before you know it, it's another 10 very easily. You ask Liverpool fans, they'll tell you. They probably never thought there'll be 26 years or 27 years or whatever it was till they won their first Premier League trophy. You know? But that's the reality of where we're at. And I don't think people do realise that, but I'm so emotionally checked out that I almost don't care about the individuals in terms of the blame game anymore. Tired of it, because I'm not saying it's not wrong to criticise the players' performances in the game, because, you know, based off a 90-minute game, when you're dissecting the game, that's what we do. But actually, the bigger project is, it doesn't matter who comes into the football club. It doesn't matter. Even yes, of course we need a good manager, but I saw Paul Scholes saying that, you know, it's because we don't have a top-class manager, like this is Ralph Rangnick's fault. I'm like, mate, have you been watching the games? Because if you have, you'd see that tactically and structurally he's trying to set up us up in the way, but the players can't get it done. You know, we're a 30-minute team. Really, that first 30 minutes against Crystal Palace and Ralph's first home game, Ralph's first game for United, that's just been a common theme. One half FC, 1/3 of the game FC. Like, it's just a revolving door of issues at Manchester United that can't be solved by a few players playing better, can't be solved by a few more positive results. It has to come within. The whole soul of the football club is wrong, massively wrong, fundamentally wrong. And until those things change, I don't think it matters who comes into the football club playing wise. It doesn't matter. We can have the summer of our lives. We just thought the summer we just had was one of the best we've ever had in recent times. And on paper it is. On paper it was. Rafael Varane, serial Champions League winner. Ronaldo, the GOAT. Jadon Sancho, one of the best European youngsters in the world. Or in Europe, obviously. One of the best young players in Europe. If not the best winger, if you know, depending on who you ask. You know, but a very, very good player. We've been even worse. We've been even worse. You know, Paul Pogba, he's coming to his end of his tenure of being here. Listen, I always got a lot of love for Paul Pogba, and I love Paul Pogba. But what's he done? What, like, every week, every month I'm saying, oh, on his day, or every month I'm saying, oh, unlock this, unlock that. Shit. Let's call a spade a spade. His time here has been terrible. Bruno Fernandes. He's come at a time when we were in dire straits with no creativity. I thank him for that. And he can be a good player. But overall impact of controlling games, trying to dictate, it's not me just going after him in general. But again, not good enough. Marcus Rashford. What do I even say? What do I even say? Scott McTominay and Fred. Fred's had an absolute stormer yesterday and has actually been playing quite well, but essentially we need change in that area of the pitch. All four fullbacks, bang average. Harry Maguire, can't be bothered to keep talking about it. Like Cavani, sick note, running with a parachute on his back at the moment. Gave us some great moments, but again, enjoy the moments, because that's what they are. They're moments, and moments are there to be enjoyed in that specific time. But there's no building block with that. There's no building block with anything we've ever done, and that's where I don't feel a little bit silly, but it's more of the wake-up call to say all these little bits of positives and these little bit of, oh, you've gone from third to second and got to a final but didn't win, and got to a semi-final, didn't win. It looks like it's not progress. We haven't made any progress. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seeing hints of progress, but actually it's clear regression. Short-term solutions, chucking money at problems. You know, instead of replacing your whole roof, you're just doing patchwork. That's all we're doing. You know, the bumpers hanging off the front of your car, you just get masking tape, gaffer tape and that, and just patch it back on, instead of sending it to the whole body shop to get a whole new front, a whole new back, a whole new side panel. Bash the dent out a little bit to make it look a bit better. But no, mate, you need a whole new fucking side panel. It needs replacing, and actually the car will look a little bit better after that's happened, but the damage is still there. It's still not where you want it to be. It's still not the best condition it can be in, because you're making do just to get by. That's all we've been doing. Getting Ronaldo at 36. Love the guy. He's given us moments. When them moments ain't there, we struggle. It's been the same before Ronaldo came. We was relying on moments from Pogba, or moments from Rashford, or moments from Bruno, or moments from Martial. Moments. Everything we've done since Sir Alex Ferguson has left have been moments. There've been a couple of little building blocks where you think, okay, maybe we could be on something. You win the FA Cup, but that year we didn't even get Champions League. So again, nothing's really happening. Jose, you know, people looking back in that famous clips resurfacing of him saying a lot of facts at the time, but we didn't really want to hear, me included. You win a Europa League and a Carabao Cup. Not what we want, 2 second-rate trophies, but you think that's a building block. Regression. Haven't won anything since. Get to Europa League final. You think, you know what? If you can win that, it gets Ollie his first trophy. It gets these players winning something. It's a good building block. Lose. Regression. So my point is that every single thing that's actually happened even at times when we think we're going in the right direction and we're building, we actually haven't. It's all been a myth. It's all been a lie. And that's not me saying, ha, I told you so, because I'm part of it as well. I've been, we all go on emotional roller coasters as fans. That's our job. We're emotionally invested in the club, in the team. We see things differently to players. We see things differently to pundits and journalists, because we love the club to the bottom of our heart, and it hurts when we lose, and it feels amazing when we win. It feels amazing when you win a trophy. And it's very hard to decipher between progress and regression and stagnation. And I think actually, when I look over the last 9 years, going on 10 years, I've struggled with that massively. But actually now it's actually hit me. Some people may be watching this saying, I could have told you this 6 years ago, mate. I could have told you this last year. I could have told you this at the beginning of the season when we signed Ronaldo. That's fine. Everyone realizes things at different times. But I'm just being open and honest about it to say, emotionally and psychologically, I've understood what's actually happening, and what has been happening, more importantly, which is the fact that we have stagnated, we have rotted, and we have self-combusted in the last 10 years, 9 years. Countless errors being made at recruitment level, no clear philosophy, the same old people making the same old decisions, getting the same old job roles. That's how I see it, personally. And then, as fans, then that turns into, we want to blame this person, we want to blame the Glazers, then we want to blame a player, then we want to blame a manager. Essentially, the real blame, which is the first sort of people said, is the Glazers and the people making the decisions at the football club. They're to blame for this, because how many times can you keep getting it wrong? How many times can you keep getting it wrong? And I tell you what, if we don't get the right appointment and the right setup, it's going to go another 5 to 10 years without being at the top. Me personally, don't even want Europa League. I'm being deadly serious with you. I know there's this argument of how you're going to attract the best players. How are you going to go and get dare I say it, forget Haaland and forget all them players. Forget it. Even the Harry Kane situation, I know a lot of you don't even want him. I've said on videos before that I want him and stuff like that. So we just need a whole new reset. And people are right, I do agree. I did say I want Harry Kane, that'll be like 80 odd million, 90 million. Forget it. Forget throwing the big money. I'm with you guys, I am. I can admit that. We just need a whole new structure. Yes, Man United's always going to have money. Man United's always going to be able to get, some big players if they want to, but is that the answer? I think the best thing Man United can do this summer, and I'm being deadly serious, and it is almost writing off next season before we've even started it, and this might sound hasty, I don't know, because of the way I'm feeling, but the best thing we can do this summer is actually just clear out the players who don't want to be there and get the manager in that we want to get, plus more people in football positions with Ralph. Not even get loads of signings. Not even, if that has to wait till January, then the next summer to get the next batch of signings that we want, and we have to go again with some of these. But you can see we're slowly rooting it out. I'll take it. Because let's be honest, in the summer, how much are we really going to be able to bring in? We're saying we need a complete revamp and a complete rebuild, a complete restructure. Yes, upstairs in the structure of the football club, but also with the playing squad. We're saying that. Okay, so we can all name pretty much, like 10 players who could leave, 10 players, we pretty much agree with that, 10 players. We can all agree on that. But in theory, you're never going to have 10 players out and 10 players in. Never, ever, ever, ever going to happen. It's impossible. So already starting next season, there's going to be a lot of players here who have been part of this mess, But if we can see that a lot of the big, Pogba, Cavani, maybe even Ronaldo, because he's probably not going to accept that we're not in the Champions League anymore. Maybe even Marcus Rashford, maybe a couple of the fullbacks, maybe something like that. I don't know. Lingard's going to go. Martial probably go. I don't know. But if you can accept that a lot of the big characters and big wages are starting to come out, and then you replace those with either promoting team players from the youth who are going to be young and hungry, or players from abroad, or players from even in the league already that are young and hungry and willing to work. And if that means that we have to take a hit again and finish 6th or 7th again next year, but we're gutting everything out, then again, that's what I'm talking about, more pain. We've got to come away from next season, we need to challenge. Next season, forget it. We need our football club to run like a football club first and foremost. So there you go, man. It's a mess, and I honestly, I think the next steps have to be completely gutting it out. I don't care, but I know this sounds bad, and again, yes, when I go into more games this season, of course I'm going to be behind the boys and stuff like that, and it hurts because the day after that and realising all of this, but I don't care about the rest of the season. I honestly don't. I haven't got the emotional capacity with getting fourth, or hopefully Arsenal playing later on against Liverpool. Could care less. You know, even if Arsenal do get spanked by Liverpool, we're not gonna. What are we gonna do? Do you know what I mean? I just can't see it. I can't see it. So I've emotionally checked out for the season. If I could press one button and just reset right now and skip to the summer, I would. That's how low I feel. So yeah. Anyway, guys, smash the like on the video, subscribe if you're new. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you agree with anything I've said. Let me know if you disagree with anything I've said as well. And put your suggestions and how you guys are feeling in the comments as well, because it's a bad time. It's a bad time, and it's about to get worse. But you know, at least if we can see some progress we can get behind, I think that will go a long way with the fans as well. That's understandable. We need to get back to. I'm out of it. Peace.